What's up, YouTube? What's up, guys and gals out there? Yeah, this is my third time trying to record this video. I was just recording. I tried recording on the YouTube app or whatever, and I got a call from, guess who I got a call from? Lone Mountain. Dum dum dum. Yeah. I'll get into that later. I got some big stuff in the works right now. I'm not talking about it too much right now because I'm waiting, for it all, for everything to come together. And once it does, I'll be updating y'all on on what's what and my process, and I'll let y'all know what's what, so I'll update y'all on all of that. But for now, I'm gonna stick to the purpose of the video, which is to talk about home time. Home time can be tricky, simply because it's all on what it's all on what you want to do, what you're looking for. It could be very simple. If you want to make lots of money or you want to make more money, you stay out forever. You just run. You don't really worry about going home and just stay out here and go. But who really wants to do that? Nobody wants to do that. We want the money, but we also want to get home sometime, also. So yeah, you have that type of person that wants to just make money, so they'll stay out like year round, almost just all the time. You have people that don't want to do nothing but be home, and that's all they want. And usually those are the people that end up not working out OTR. They end up not working out because at some point it's like they can't take it no more. They hit their limit and it's just too hard for them, being gone away from the comfort of their home or their family or their kids, or their freedom of being home every night and doing what you want to do. It's not for everybody. So, but people like that, they usually tend, they end up not working out. It's like a no-brainer, really, but for me, I had to learn how to work my home time to where it wouldn't interrupt my cash flow too bad, because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. Well, I don't say it's the most important thing, but that's the reason why you're driving trucks, because of the money and the cash flow. And that's why we all do it at the end of the day. So my advice, if you're going to lease coming out, now unless you're on a load board, Snyder, Interstate, something like that, it really don't matter, because you go home when you want to go home, and it's up to you. But when you're leasing at KLLM or any other company that dispatches you, and they have these quote unquote requirements for how long you have to stay out or whatever, my advice to everyone, when you first start leasing, you have to set your ceiling. And what I mean by that, and this is what I called it, when you first get your truck and you go out, you want to see how long you can stay out comfortably, how long you can comfortably stay out. Okay, there's a big difference between just forcing yourself to stay out like extended periods of time to the point of just pure unhappiness. There's a difference between finding your limit, how long you can comfortably stay out. So me coming out, I knew that hold on. All right. Me coming out of training, I did 6 weeks of that, so I knew I could do 6 weeks. Like, okay, I know I could do at least 6 weeks or whatever. So, screen messing up. Okay. So when I came out, I ended up doing 8 weeks. I pushed myself to about 8 weeks. So I was like, okay, that's my ceiling. That's where I'm comfortable at. I know if push comes to shove, I can comfortably stay out about 8 weeks and just roll the checks in, if I have to. And I'm gonna be honest, that's really when you're gonna make your best money leasing, when you can stay out. That's when you're gonna get the money really coming in. When I did that 8 weeks, when I first started out, You know, I was getting pretty decent checks, you know, like 1,500, 14, 12, 11, 11, 14, 13, 1,000. You know, I was getting pretty decent checks, you know, 1,400 just, and the money wasn't bad. So I like that aspect of it. So after I did that, I started pretty much staying out 4 or 5 weeks at a time, and then just staying out that whole time, and then taking like a week off, like 4, 5, 6 days. And I realized that I was hurting myself doing that, because when I come back out, I just be like pretty just in the hole, you know, and it'll take me a week or so to get out the hole. And then the week before I come in, my miles be a little low, because, you know, they trying to dispatch me a certain way just to get me home and everything, you know, so you can't just run. So I came to the conclusion that I didn't like that. I found that didn't work. Now, for Christmas, I did take 2 weeks off. It's a perk of leasing. I took 2 weeks off, right at 2 weeks. It was about 10 or 11 days or something. So, you know, I enjoy that aspect of it. You know, here at KLLM, they let you defer a truck payment every 6 months, as long as you have at least $2,500 in your maintenance account. And I did that. You know, certain stipulations that go along with it, like other stipulations, but I did that around Christmas time. That's how I was able to take that 2 weeks off. That's how I was able to take that 2 weeks off or whatever. So yeah, that was pretty cool. But I realized that the whole staying out 4 or 5 weeks and going home for like, you know, 4, 5, 6 days wasn't working. So I changed it. I said, okay, because I'm on the BASF account. You have to do 3 weeks out, all right, and you have to plan your home time at least let me see, was it a week or 2 weeks? I think over here they want you to give them 2 weeks notice of when you're gonna do your home time. It's a little different. Now OTR is different. Now OTR, you have to come out for at least a week before you can schedule home time. Then after you schedule once you schedule home time, you have to schedule at least a week in advance. So basically, they don't tell you like this. They don't just come out and say, okay, you got to drive 2 weeks and then you can go home. They don't tell you like that, but basically that's what it is. They got it set up for it to work out like that. They tell you, okay, you got to come, it's OTR, you got to come out, you got to drive at least a week before you can schedule home time, all right? And then once you schedule home time, you have to give us at least a week's notice. So at the earliest, you can get home every 2 weeks for home time. They don't flat out tell you like that, but that's how it works out. But what I figured out, what I started doing was I'd go home as often as possible on my routes, okay? So if I caught a load that was going, you know, even remotely close to home, it could be, let's just say, if I have a tolerance, you know, if I go anywhere over about 60, maybe 70, I've even went 80 miles out of the way to get home, I might not do it, you know, because it kills too much time, you know, and I avoid it. But if, let's just say, it's an extra 40 miles, 50 miles along my route, you know, for me to go home, I go home. You know, it's been some times to where within my 3 weeks out, I might end up going home at least 3 times before I even take home time, you know, just because I make it my thing. I make a conscious effort to get home as often as possible, and I find that it just works so much better. You know, it works so much better opposed to staying out for long periods of time and then staying home for long periods of time. It just works a lot better to go home as often as possible in between, and schedule your home time like on a Thursday. You know, get home for Thursday, that way you had a full check, and then go back out like that Saturday or something like that. Or schedule your home time for like Friday and go back out on Monday, you know, something like that. Do it like that. That way you interrupt your cash flow too bad. Your checks won't be as big, but it's better than going home on a Wednesday. You can cut a work week off and then coming back out on a Monday or something. Like that's too much time. Like it's gonna be, you don't want to really want to do it like that. Some people say they may come out, go home on a Monday and stay until like Friday or something like that, or Saturday. That kind of splits their week, to where they'll have, if they run the right miles, both their checks will be about the same size. But you have to run though. I mean, without a doubt. This is where a lot of people fail in their leases. They don't understand the fact that, okay, I have a business now. They don't approach it with a business mindset. If you have a business, it's your responsibility to make sure that your business is not failing. And a part of your business failing when it comes to leasing a truck is not generating enough revenue. And generating revenue come down to running, and being out, so it's a part of it. It's all a part of it. If you can't take being out, don't lease. Just go company, do your mandatory 2 weeks or whatever, go home your 2 days, come back out, just do it like that and call it a day. Because there's gonna be some time when you're leasing where you're gonna have to come out here and you're gonna have to really run. You're gonna have to run 4 weeks, 5 weeks, maybe even 6 weeks or whatever. So it's how it is. It's how it is. But KLLM, they're kind of like middle of the road in terms of home time. They have a lot of options now. Because I could have got on the Forest Products account, and that's local. They have one close to where I live, and I could have been home every night, but the money wasn't the same. And then they stopped guys from bringing the lease trucks over and all that, so didn't do that. But I say they're probably middle of the road in terms of home time. They good thing about it, when you're leasing, they let you stay home as long as you want to. Anything that's reasonable, I'll say. You can't just go home for like a month and be like, yeah, I'm chilling at the house. But they don't do the whole like, oh, you do 2 weeks out, you get 2 days at home, 3 weeks out, 3 days at home. They don't really do that. They do, okay, give us our 2 weeks, give us our 2 weeks. If you're dedicated, it's gonna be different, maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks. But you may come home every weekend if you're dedicated. They got that on some, but they come out, give them their time. Then you can go home as long as you want to. Well, they say as long as you want to, but we all know it ain't really as long as you want to. You're gonna stay home only so long. But yeah, remember your cash flow. Don't forget your cash flow. You have to be mindful of your cash flow when taking home time. And different setups in terms of home time work best for different people. But for me, I come out, I do my mandatory 3 weeks. I schedule my home time, and I do a little more than 3 weeks. I always try to schedule my home time to be home on a Friday and come back out on a Monday. Because guess what happens? Sometimes I even get a chance to get a load. It's been times where I've had a load coming home, and what I could do, I'll come home, I drop my load on a Friday, and I drop it on the yard on the Friday. I go home Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. I go pick it up Monday morning, go deliver it. That's happened a few times. So, and guess what? It's like I don't even skip a beat. My check still be decent. So that has happened a few times. So home time, like I say, it's kind of like to each his own. It's kind of like one of them situations. It's all on what works best for you, but you got to keep in mind that you're running a business. That's what you got to remember. So you can't get lazy. You can't just want to go home and stay a week every time you go home. It's gonna hurt you. Like your checks are gonna get Like it's not gonna be good. You know, it's not gonna be good. Take it from me. So yeah, but yeah, I'm parked for the day. I'm up here. I'm in Maryland. I got to go to Massachusetts. I'm going way up there, like a 1,700-mile run. Oh yeah, another thing about home time, truck repairs, PMs, things of that nature. I always try to schedule your repairs or your PMs or whatever somewhere close to your house. Okay? Always. If you have some type of repair that's needed, and let's just say it's not something that'll get you in trouble with DOT, like, you know, nothing too crazy, which I can't think. I mean, almost any repair probably get you in trouble. Any needed repair might get you in trouble. But for example, I was having an issue with my on guard. So what I did was I got my dispatch. I like, look, man, please just route me to the house like ASAP. You know, that way, to the yard ASAP. That way I can get my truck in the shop and I can get my on guard fixed. So I did that. I took it, you know, and I got it, you know, working the way it was supposed to. And it was working, but it was like it'll go in and out. So I would have to like exit, you know, get off at a truck stop or something, park, like reset it, like let it reset, then get back on the road, you know, because I had to do it like that because, you know, I didn't want any type of safety issues to come up with parking on the road, on the side of the road, or, you know, just riding without it. So but anyway, when I dropped my truck off, I went home for like a day or two, and it was unscheduled home time, but I turned it into home time. You know, when I got to get PMs and everything, I always try to get back to the shop or get somewhere close to home. You know, that way if I can time it right, I'll get there. You know, I can get my PM or whatever, or I tell them to route me in a certain place so I can get my PM, and I turn it in a little bit of home time. You know, it's been times I went home one day for home time. You know, do 3 weeks. Come home, I have something to do. Come home that day. Let me see. Have I ever? No, I've never came home and went out the next day. I'll come home, let's just say on a Wednesday, then I spend that Thursday at home, but then like Friday, I'll be back out, you know, and I've done that a few times just because that's what the situation called for in terms of my cash flow. So you got to remember that, you know, it's just that's the situation I was in. So just take every opportunity you can to get home, period. You know, whether it's getting some type of repair or some work done, or, you know, if your route is going anywhere near home, sometimes you might even ask your dispatcher, hey, you got anything going, you know, near this location, you know, this such and such location. You know, you ain't necessarily got to say, hey, give me something, get me close to home. But, you know, you can ask them, especially once you learn the lanes and you learn what type of freight, you know, comes out of a certain location and heads to another location. You know, let's just say if you may be in Washington, you know, up above Cali, you know, up in the Northwest. You may be in Washington, where if you know that, okay, there's a lot of cranberries that are shipped out of Washington and they go to Atlanta a lot. Or if you're in Washington, you may want to ask your dispatcher, hey, you got anything and then let's just say you live in Atlanta. You got anything going to Georgia, anything going near Atlanta? You got some cranberries coming out of here or something I could pick up and run? You know, you may want to ask them, you know, and if you run and you time it right, you know, you can get home for a break, and, you know, that counts. You know, if you got a little extra time to do it, you know, you can get home, spend some time at the house, you know, may be able to extend your 10-hour break a little bit if you got the wiggle room, maybe. But worst case scenario, you can get home, you know, and do your 10 at home. You know, there's no crime in that, as long as you get your sleep and getting rest up and make your deliveries and pickups on time. So yeah, keep all that in mind. Ooh, 20 minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna cut this, y'all. I don't like making overly long videos, but But like I say, remember, purpose and action. Remember that. I want y'all to always remember that. Y'all might not remember this old crazy looking dude on YouTube named Purpose and Action, but remember that term, purpose and action, because remember, if you're doing something, you want to have purpose in it. You don't want to just be doing stuff for no reason. You know, make every step count. Make it count. Don't be doing things in vain, you know. So remember that. Remember that. And remember, it's always purpose and action, because believe it or not, it's a motive behind everything that you or anyone else do. It's always a motive. Nobody is doing nothing just for nothing. You know, remember that. Whether you recognize it or not, whether you realize it or not, it's always a motive behind every action. You just have to be conscious of your motives. Be conscious of what you're doing. Be aware of why you're doing what you're doing, pretty much. So yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna get off y'all phone and y'all devices. So I ain't come on here to preach or nothing, just talking. But woo, yep. Well, I'll see y'all later. Take it easy, YouTube. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe, y'all. Like the video. Drop the comments below. Let me know what y'all think. And if you got any questions, any videos you want to hear about, some, you know, anything, you know, I'm quick to shoot my email out there. I can email you if you want. Just comment. You know, you can ask the questions in the comments. Just whatever you want to know. Just let me know you want to know that, you know, by way of questions. So, y'all take it easy and remember to keep purpose in your actions. Holla.